Well, hello and welcome to Friday Flow with the Sacred CEO Success Group of the Sacred CEO Experience. We have been missing for a couple of weeks for things we could not control, but we're glad to be here today. So we thank you for being here. I am Dr. Dan Abraham Thomas Jr., a Sacred CEO co-founder, and I'm with
Empowered greetings. This is Karen, Coach KG Gilliam.
Listen, we're glad to have you here today, and we're expecting, well, we have prepared for you. Let me say that something because it's kind of hard to expect something when you haven't prepared. But we've got something that's going to help you today. So what I want you to do very quickly is take the next 30, 40 minutes and block everything out. Get a pen and a pad because you're going to be taking notes today on some very practical things that are going to help you. Today, we're going to be talking about train your brain to think better. Now, what you have to understand about that, it doesn't matter your environment. It doesn't matter your current circumstances. None of those things matter. Remember from a previous episode, we talked about determining factors and we talked about contributing factors. Now, the reason why I'm saying this ahead of what we're talking about today, because something in your brain is going to tell you that this is fantasy talk, that it won't work for you or something like that. I am a living witness that you can train your brain. As a matter of fact, I'm still training my brain. Now, there are contributing factors in this world, and I've given this example, and I don't mean to belabor the point, but I've given the example that in this world, especially in this country, because I'm a Black man, there may be certain institutions and people that are hostile to my success and are trying to place impediments in my way of forward progress. Now, if I respond to that incorrectly, then that contributing factor becomes a determining factor in my life. I decide whether that stops me. Things may block me temporarily, but only I can stop myself. And for as many people who will say no to me, I only need one person to say yes.
That's right.
So that's the mindset that I want you to take into this. If you change what you say, change what you think, train your brain, it will change what you see in your life. Coach, you got any preliminary statements?
Yeah, I guess sometimes people wonder why are we talking about the brain, the mind? And because I happen to know that where you are today is a direct result as to what went in here.
Wow.
It is.
It's true.
We have been trained by different people, organizations, clubs, whatever, family, parenting, uh, our parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, all that went here. So the experiences we have had and are continuing to have is because in our mind, we have perceptions based on those experiences, those encounters, those training. And if you've ever wondered, why can't I get where I need to be? It's probably because up here needs to change.
Yes.
And so if the word says renew your mind, God didn't, it was a reason why we
Right.
were to renew our mind. So we are going to help you. And what a perfect way on a Friday, just to jumpstart the weekend and get you going.
Now, we've done something that we don't normally do, and I want to let everyone know we've decided to stream to our personal pages. We do this one time per month and so the one out of the two times, so other people can know about it. You can be in the Sacred CEO Success Group for free. We go live twice a month. We then also have something that we want to tell you about later on that I think will be beneficial to you as well. But I want you to get ready, because if you just applied a portion, a fraction of what we're telling you to do, not only will it work, it will begin to develop a hunger for more and for better. So for those of you who are watching on Facebook, here's what I want you to do right now. I want you to be a good advertising agent for us. I want you to share the video, and then I want you to tag some friends who you think would benefit from eradicating stinking thinking.
He said it. He
Yes,
said
you want to get rid of that, because it's not that you're not good at something. It's not that you don't have enough talent. It's not that you don't have enough skill. It's not that you don't have enough gift. It's the way you think. Because even if you did have the skill, even if you did have the talent, your thinking about yourself could stop all of those cold. And I say this all the time. You can never believe above the level, or you can never live, you can never live above the level you believe about yourself. You can never perform above the level you believe about yourself. You can never have anything above the level you believe about yourself. So that's why we're talking about the mind and the brain. And I know some of you get frustrated and you're like, I'm trying. And what you don't understand is that what Coach described, your surroundings, your environment, all of those things were built over time, repetitiously.
Yes.
You did the same things every day for years. This is why, and Myron Golden calls it the something indoctrination system, the educational indoctrination system. The purpose of that, think about this, and I'm not causing dispersion on anyone. If you want to be a lawyer, you need to go to school. If you want to become a doctor, you need to go to school. I'm not casting dispersion upon education, but you have to understand that that if you wanted to indoctrinate a generation with a certain type of thinking, then you would build a system of education to where they did the same thing every single day for 12 years of their life. You could predict and project what the rest of their lives will be like, because you did that to them. And I hope you see it. I hope you see it. This is why you always have outliers. You have a Du Bois. You know, some of the, you know, I don't know, Coach, we're gonna move on. We can't get into this, but you know, some of the stuff that happened to some Black people and the people who broke out, W.E.B. Du Bois, Frederick Douglass, all of those heroes, or the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world, or the Bill Gates, and all these different types of people. It was because they escaped that education system. So it may have been a benefit that you held me out of that education system, didn't allow me into it, because I was able to think outside of it, because I wasn't repetitioned into it.
Yes.
And I was able to get my own education and was able to see what you were doing to me. Here's a book suggestion. You guys need to read The Talented 10th. All right. These are you need to read The Talented 10th. If you are a product of the African diaspora, that's by W.E.B. Du Bois. If you're a part of the African diaspora, you may not be, but I'm just throwing some stuff out there. You need to read The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson. You need to read the autobiography of Frederick Douglass. These are texts that will help you understand who you are. The Talented 10th. So, all right. So just want to make that. Okay. So if we're talking about training your brain, there's some questions we need to ask. And Coach, could you answer this question? What is the brain?
I can answer that. The brain is a physical part of our physical body. It is able to be seen. You can touch it. It's made up of nerve cells, and the mind actually uses the brain. So it is physical. Everybody got that? You've seen pictures, images on the internet, in books of the brain. That is what the brain is. It is the hardware. It's the hardware for the mind. So did I answer that one for you, PD?
No, I think you did. And I think just remember that the brain is the hardware for the mind. If you could just write that, if you could type that in the comments, that's going to help you with this next question. The brain is the hardware for the mind. So then what is the mind? Right? What is the mind? So that concept can be a little tricky. So it's best for us to start with what the mind is not. So your mind is not your brain. That's simple enough, right? Your mind is not your brain, just as you are not your brain. The mind is separate, yet at the same time, it is inseparable from the brain. The mind uses the brain. The brain responds to the mind. The brain doesn't produce the mind changes the brain. So people do things. Our brains do not force us to do things. And if you understand this, you would understand there would be no conscious experience without the brain, but experience cannot be reduced to the brain's action. So in essence, the mind is energy, and it generates energy through three functions: thinking, feeling, and choosing. So what that means is that you and I, both of us, we actually generate energy through our mind that's in action 24/7. Which is a part of the activity that we pick up with what's called brain technology. When we generate this mind energy through thinking, feeling, and choosing, here's what happens. You build thoughts, and thoughts are actually physical structures in your brain. Thoughts are things. You hear this in a lot of talk. They did a picture one time, and they had a person think for a long time, and they had them focus on one thing. This was an actual experiment, and they have pictures of it. Do you know that thought, coach, that thought in that person's brain looked like the trunk of a tree, and the bottom of it, like there were roots going down? They were able to take an image of what a thought looked like. Now, watch this. This is how you know that the scriptures are true. And you guys know we're sacred CEOs, so there's no shame here. It said, blessed is the man that walks not in the counsel of the ungodly. This is Psalm 1. Nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful, but his delight is in the law of the Lord. And in that law does he meditate day and night, and he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water. Do you see it? So when you meditate, when you think, you focus, that thought becomes like a tree in your mind.
Wow.
You can't get past it. So they used to think that the brain was the mind or the brain actually was static, but then they understand that there's this thing called neuroplasticity, where your mind can change your brain. The brain responded to the person's thinking, feeling, and choosing as a stream of conscious and non-conscious activity. These are things that the Lord wants you to know about yourself. The more we learn about ourselves, the better lives we will have. So just remember, you can always come back and watch some of that if it's too much, if it's too much. But we want you to know we're not giving away just anything here, right? These are things. This is going to help you when you start understanding. You've got three major functions: thinking, feeling, and choosing. The moment you open up your eyes, you're doing that non-consciously.
Yes.
You're thinking, you're feeling, and you're choosing. The more you can understand what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and what you're choosing. As a matter of fact, let me end it here, and then we'll go on, because I think there's a connection here that I want to make. So think about it like this: when you think, you will feel. You've never had a thought that did not produce an emotion. If I told you to take the next 20 seconds, coach, and think about somebody you don't like, immediately you're going to have an emotion because of a thought.
That's right.
Like somebody talk to me. You're going to have an emotion because of a thought. So when you think, you feel.
Yes.
And when you think and feel, when thinking and feeling comes together, you choose.
That's right.
Those three aspects.
You make a decision.
You make a decision. You've never. This is an emotional decision. It's not an emotional decision. It's just rational. No, there's emotion because physiologically, you can't operate another way.
No.
Beliefs produce thoughts. Thoughts produce emotions and feelings. Feelings produce behaviors. Behaviors produce results and experiences. You can't get away from it. All of them are intertwined physiologically within you. So if you want to learn how to think better, you're in the right place.
Yeah.
You're in the right place. So, Coach, let's talk about some steps to thinking better. All right.
Absolutely.
So if we're trying to get you, listen, it could be as simple as I want to move from negative to positive. Could it be that simple? Like, right, Coach?
Definitely.
It could be that, I want to start, move from poverty to wealth, or I want to, move from sickness to health, like whatever. You just want to start thinking better.
Yes.
Let me ask those of you who are still here, are you tired of getting up and thinking another day, another dollar? Oh my God. It's not the weekend. Now I just need to tell you this. When people like get hyped up about the weekend, I understand maybe it was just one of those weeks. It was really hard at work. Coach, I just need to ask a question. Can you tell me what magic dust or powder is on Saturday and Sunday that I don't know about?
You know where it is? It's up here, because the world started saying Blue Monday. Right?
Yep.
Everybody hates to go to work on Monday. Every time I have like a doctor's appointment and the computer is slow, they have the nerve to say, even the computer don't like Monday.
Wow.
What?
So now the devil's in the computer.
Oh, yeah. So you got Blue Monday, Terrible Tuesday, Wednesday, Hump Day. I just got to get over the hump. Right? And then Thursday, Friday Eve. So you're getting a little excited. Friday come, some people, it's payday. Yoo-hoo! What are they going to do the weekend? And more people are excited on Friday than any other day of the week, because they're looking forward to the weekend. But come Sunday at 2:00 in the afternoon, oh gosh, it's only a few hours for I got to go to bed to go to work. Yep. Miss Martha said TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. Yeah. What?
So the real question would be, why are you working a job that you need vacation from every week?
Wow.
That's the question, because that feeling tells me that you're doing something that not only that you don't like, but is outside of your divine design.
That's right. That's right.
It's outside of your divine design. I say this all the time, and I'll keep saying it as long as I can. Whatever you do well naturally, you will do naturally well.
Come on now.
And something has told you that you can't get back to that it's too late, but we're here to break that today. Yes. So number one, Coach, help us with this. This is the number one thing you need to do. Reframe your unhelpful thoughts. Now, I want you to, just by way of engagement, so you can engage with what we're talking about, I want you, everybody that's listening today, all 7 of you, I want you to type that in the comments. Reframe your unhelpful thoughts.
You have to. So let me give you some examples. Okay. This will never work. I can't do anything right. Those turn into self-fulfilling prophecies. You say those things. Guilty. I used to say, oh, what I eat, and now I can't even remember it. See, because I reframed my mind. But whatever I used to eat, especially sweets, I say go straight to my hips. I said things like that. But these become self-fulfilling prophecies. Negative thoughts, hear me. Negative thoughts prevent you from taking positive action. You cannot take positive action with negative thoughts. So you have to reframe your unhelpful thoughts, meaning the things that you're saying that are negative aren't helping you. They are hurting you. So you know the word, the phrase I'm going to give you. It's head trash. It's head trash. You need to take out the garbage. Get it out. So that's reframing your unhelpful thoughts. Now, hold on, because we're not going to just tell you what not to do. We're also going to tell you what to do.
Mm-hmm.
But we're just breaking it down for you. So the first thing in training your brain is to reframe those unhelpful thoughts. PD?
Yes. And one of the ways you do this is prove yourself wrong and step up to the challenge. Now, you've been taught to prove yourself right because people, let me make a cautionary statement. Can I do that, Coach? Let me make a cautionary statement. You need to avoid people.
Come on now.
Who are more concerned with being right than getting it right.
Say it again.
And listen, and you may be one of those people. I don't know. But you need to avoid people. I've been there. So I'm speak with authority. Avoid people who are more concerned with being right than getting it right.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're a true learner, y'all know this. Some of this is, if you're a true learner, you're trying to better yourself every day.
Yes.
You're trying. I think it was Marcus Aurelius. I think he's the one said, if you can prove to me a better way or that I'm wrong, I will gladly choose the better way. I mean, this is a paraphrase of the quote. I don't remember it exactly. I just remember who said it. So the solution is really simple. Number one, just attempt to prove yourself wrong on a daily basis. Because you could be. Anybody that tells me that they hold to the same position that they did 10 years ago on every single subject, man, listen. People say, well, truth doesn't change. Well, it does when you don't know everything.
Come on.
And I don't know everything. It does change. It changes because what I don't know changes a presupposition or predisposition that I had now that I know something that I didn't know previously. So when our focus shifts from proving ourselves right to proving ourselves wrong, well, here's what happens. You start seeking different inputs.
Yep.
You combat what I would call a deeply entrenched bias within yourself. And then you open up yourself to competing facts and arguments. And guess what? You're not intimidated. You don't feel small. You don't feel like no one's listening to me. You're ready to come to the table and discuss all ideas, and it doesn't matter whose cream rises to the top. You just want the best one. Let me give you something else. You want to do this also by figuring out why you believe what you believe.
Right.
This is on every level. So you're going to ask questions like this, and I hope you go through this. You're going to ask questions like, what are your assumptions? What are the supporting facts to your assumptions? How do you know those facts to be accurate? And remember, Google is not a synonym for research.
Come on now.
Google's not a synonym for research. Just because it's on the internet doesn't mean it's true. You need to understand if you're researching a real research site. You need to be skeptical of one study found claims, meaning they only looked one place. You need to seek multiple references, filter out low quality information. And by low quality, here's what I mean. Those 8 surprising superfoods you should eat every day for a long life article that comes to the top of the feed of Google. They pay for that. It's called SEO, search engine optimization.
Yep.
Just because it showed up at the top, that must be the Lord. No, they paid to be at the top of the feed. They pay. I'm just trying to help you.
Yeah.
So And then ask yourself this, it doesn't hurt. Do you want this particular thing to be true?
Right.
Because I can make something true out of desire, not because it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Be very careful.
Mm-hmm.
Confirmation bias will be particularly strong for deeply entrenched beliefs. You just want to believe it, even though it's not true. Remember, what is a belief? A belief is anything I assume to be true.
Right.
And a lie believed as truth will operate as truth in your life, even though it's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the last thing. Once you've identified the foundations of your argument, force yourself to poke holes in it. How can I prove myself wrong? What are the arguments on the opposing side? What facts bring me to a contrary conclusion? Now, I've always said this, that if you disagree with something, and you may still end up with the same thing, but you need to go through the process. If you disagree with something, but you have no premise from which that disagreement comes from. So you understand what I mean by premise. There's a foundation of thought from which your assumption arises.
Right.
If you say to me, well, why, and I ask you, let's say I ask you, why do you disagree? I just do.
Not a reason.
Right? I just do. What you're telling me is that you don't disagree, you don't understand. It's not a disagreement problem, it's a comprehension problem. It's why I always ask people when I get ready to debate with them. Well, I don't debate religion, but if they want to discuss some things, let me use the right word. If they want to discuss some things, I ask them, who am I talking to you? Am I talking to your grandfather who put the first brick down of your family church? Am I talking to your grandmother? I want to know who I'm talking to, or am I talking to the person who's done the hard work of actually finding out, why do I believe what I believe? And most people have not, they haven't gone through the work to find out why they believe what they believe about God, why they believe what they believe about money, why they believe what they believe about success, why they believe what they believe about different kinds of relationships. They only know what's taught to them. Nobody in here would eat and vomit the food up and then come back 5 minutes later and say, let me scoop this up and eat my own vomit.
Oh my God.
No, nobody would do it. I'm sure you wouldn't do it, right? I'm sure you wouldn't do that. So why do we constantly regurgitate things that we've heard but never investigated yourself? You still may come to the same conclusion, but you need to stop living vicariously through other people.
Ooh, come on now.
You need to have your own experience. You got to have your own experience, which leads us to the next thing. Coach, build up your mental muscle. Talk to us about that.
Well, before I do, I got to add a little bit.
Come on, it's good. It's good today.
Prove yourself wrong by going in the opposite direction of the negative tendencies that you have. Prove yourself wrong. Turn from the negative tendencies, challenge yourself, and at some point, you're going to wave, and I wish I had one. Well, I got a white piece of paper here. You're going to wave the white flag. You surrender. You give up. So do that also. Do that. Surrender. And then to build that mental muscle, avoid atrophy. You know what that is?
Okay. Yep.
I know PD works out. My working out is walking. My days of all that other stuff are over. I just do the steps. But he knows what atrophy, because when you are building muscle, if you do not keep it up on a consistent basis, what happens, PD?
Your muscles actually contract. And you know a lot of the pains that you have, it's because you haven't been moving the muscles.
Right.
Now you use the word atrophy. Can I give a biblical? Well, that's not a good example because he was born that way. But I was going to go to Acts chapter 3. But I had a friend who was in the hospital for a very long time, for months and months and months. And because he wasn't moving, his bones got smaller and the tissues in his legs begin to atrophy. And when you talk about atrophy, just so you can we can draw a picture in your mind. Atrophy means that the tissues are actually beginning to waste away.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally what's going on. So you don't want that to happen to where, because this atrophy is you can always get it back, but you would have to build it back at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to go through that because you know what? It's painful.
Yeah, it is.
It's painful. So you don't want to do that. So, and what causes atrophy is inactivity. Excuse me.
That's right.
So you got to build it. You got to build your mental muscle. And we're going to give you very practical ways here in a moment to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Now, go ahead.
I was going to say this when I was preparing for this, and it actually came to my mind. And it came to my mind from when I was in elementary school. Now, y'all know that was a long time ago.
Okay.
Okay. But it stuck with me. And Petey is going to show you just a brief cartoon. Come on now, it's Friday.
Right.
A cartoon of something that stuck with me about the little engine that could.
And we are going to play this right now for you. Okay. Here we go.
The Little Engine That Could. There once was a train full of important toys. It was trying to get to the next town over, chugging and huffing and puffing through the countryside. But then it came to a large hill. It tried to go up once and slid back down. It tried again and got farther up this time, but still couldn't make it. It tried yet another time and slid again. The train knew it wasn't going to be able to make it over this hill all by itself. "Help! Help!" the train cried. A large black train rolled up next to them. "Please help us," the train full of toys said. "We can't make it over this hill by ourselves." The black train took one look at them and said, "No, no, I can't help you. I've been busy all day and now I need to rest." And it rolled right off to the train station. The train full of toys waited for what felt like hours. Finally, another train pulled up. This one was big too, definitely strong enough to pull them over the hill. But when they asked for help, this train disappointed them too. "Oh no, I can't help. You are far too heavy for me to pull." And it too went straight to the train station. Another train came, and another, and another. All of them looked big enough to pull the train full of toys over the hill, but none of them helped. Then a small steam engine rolled up beside them. The train full of toys knew that this steam engine was too small and felt so defeated that it didn't say anything. Then the little engine spoke. "Do you folks need some help?" "Yes," the train said. "Let me try," said the little engine. The train wasn't so sure about this one. "I'm a very big train. I'm not sure you could pull us." The little engine thought for a moment. It sized up the bigger train and then said, "I think I can." So the little engine hooked itself up to the front of the train and began to pull. All the while he said, "I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can." Then the hill got steeper and the little engine wasn't sure it could go another inch, but it still puffed on. "I think I can." And suddenly, after all of that hard work, the little engine's faith in itself paid off. They made it over the top of the hill and zoomed down the tracks and got the train full of toys where it needed to be. And all the while, the little engine said, "I knew I could, I knew I could, I knew I could." Thanks for watching.
Wow.
I remember that. I mean,
Wow.
that is embedded in me from probably the first grade. And I always say, I think I can. I think I can. And that's where it starts. It's the thought. And even when outside, like those other trains and everything come, and they thought the train full of toys thought they definitely could do it. But it was the one that they thought that couldn't first believed he could, and he did. So once you achieve that one impossible thing, then you're going to say, I knew I could. I knew I could. So I just wanted to share that.
No, point well taken. Point well. You just need a win under your belt.
Yeah.
Even if it's a small one. And I Coach, I love the repetition. I love the repetition because this reminds me of the woman who had the issue of blood, and she had it for 12 years. And, you know, the scriptures say that the people were thronging Jesus. And the scripture says that she said to herself, if I may touch but his clothes, I shall be made whole.
Yes.
And I've always wondered, how many times did she say that? If I may touch but his clothes, I shall be made whole. She moved another inch through the crowd. If I may touch but his clothes, I shall be made whole. It moved another inch through the crowd. This is her murmuring, which is another word for meditation to herself about the difficulty. Now, she'd been in this condition for 12 years. And the scripture actually said she spent all that she had and got no better but worse. And somebody here is saying, what's the point? The point is this, is that what you believe about yourself has everything to do with what you experience in this life.
Yes. Yes.
You see some people who are broke financially, but are rich in their minds and know it's coming. And you're like, how could you have this confidence and there's no manifestation yet? Because they've received what used to be impossible, and it's real on the inside.
Yes.
So if a woman goes to the doctor and she finds out that she's pregnant, she doesn't look at her stomach and see that there's no growth in her stomach and say, well, I must not be pregnant. She's got faith that she's pregnant. If you say, I'm going to be a millionaire and begin to develop a millionaire mind, it doesn't matter how much is in the bank account right then, because that millionaire mind has already been deposited, and not many days from now, you will be able to, like I imagine, Coach, in our Stripe account, millions.
Yes.
I don't care what's in there. I can see it in my mind. Like right now, $4 million. I don't even know, but I just keep seeing that. It's amazing that I'm saying 4 million, because you have to have that image in your mind, build up that mental muscle to the point that nobody can tell you any different.
That's right.
Now, don't take me to the extreme and, I believe I can fly, and then you jump off the highest building of your downtown. We're not talking
law
about
of gravity still works.
Yeah, the law. We're talking about you changing your circumstance that this is going to happen. I love to tell the story of he just hit my man. He's older now. Les Brown. Thank you. Thank you. So Les Brown this is when, for those of you who know the Crystal Cathedral in Orange County, California, and Robert Schuller, who's gone home to be with the Lord now, you remember that show. If you got on that show, whether you from the world or from the church, you were big time. That's how popular he got. Like that one show would get you just all kinds of dates. Like it is just that one show, and he would bring on top people from different industries, and different things like that. All right. Well, this is what Les Brown would do. Les Brown would go on planes. He'd be in airports. And when he would introduce himself to people, he would say, "Hi, I'm Les Brown. How are you? I'm going to be on the Robert Schuller Show." And people would be like, okay, that's a strange introduction. But what he was doing was he was convincing himself. And 5 years he said that. 5 years. Don't worry about the time. It could be 5 days for someone else, 5 months. It don't matter. But 5 years. So he's on a plane. He's first class. He's going to Atlanta to speak. And he's sitting by a guy and he says, "Hi, my name is Les Brown. How are you? I'm going to be on the Robert Schuller Show."
Mhm.
He didn't know that gentleman worked for Robert Schuller. He's like, "You are?" He says, he said, "You know Robert?" He said, "No, but I'm going to be on the show. I work for him. He sent me out here. I'm going to listen to another speaker, a potential guest on the show. When are you speaking?" And he says, "Oh, well, I have it at this time." He said, "That's a few hours before I have to go hear this other guy. I'll come hear you." He came and heard him, was blown away. He's blown away. 2 weeks later, he was on the Robert Schuller Show. This is a true story. You can look it up on the internet. I'm telling you, see, this kind of stuff, and people are like, "Oh, you can't speak it into existence." Well, the problem is we speak it, put no feet, because you may have to keep doing what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But see, I think like this is, and we're going to move on with our points, but this is when you believe something and you hold an image in your mind to where it becomes real and there's no other alternative. When you start thinking something, you can study this. This is just science. This is just what happens in our space-time continuum. When you think one thought, doesn't matter negative or positive, there's an energy that's emitted from your body. They can put you on an infrared scanner and you can watch the colors change around your body as your mood changes, as your thoughts change, all of these different things, right? And so when you get an image in your mind and you hold on to that image and you believe that's going to happen to you, what literally happens is space and time begin to fold over itself and begin to pull that thing towards you. When your words and your actions and your thoughts align, there is nothing in this entire universe that could keep that thing from you. It's a law. It's a law. I'm telling you, people have gotten out of jail this way. It's crazy. All right, let's give you some practical stuff. We could go on all day. All right, so here's your call to action. Here's your CTA. You got to get in training. Number one, and I did it again, Coach. It's somewhere around here. We were working on this. When we were putting this, it was messing up. So let me get you number one. Number one is read every day.
Yes.
You can take that one away, Coach. It's for some reason it's not on here. We thought we licked it, but maybe we didn't.
Okay. Read every day. Of course, you choose what you're going to read, but read every day. On Turn It Up Thursday, we are embarking on what I call a 1-year growth plan. And there will be steps that we'll do. We're going to go through this in a year. And one of the things is read something every day. I read the Word. I read a book that is going to help me, something on business, success, every single day. And I still read biographies because I need to see what people have overcome, not just what we see day to day, because they're successful. So read something every day. That's step one. Now, step two, did that come up for you?
Yes. Step two. Yep. Now that's the one because it jumped it. Yep.
Yeah. Get sound sleep. Now, notice the word sound before sleep. Now, PD and I both are on this health kick, and sleep has a very impactful way on your body, how it functions. Sound sleep, and I'll be transparent, I sleep with a CPAP machine. Because if I didn't, during the course of the night, I stopped breathing. So the CPAP keeps my airways open, and some of my best sleep has been since I've been on that CPAP machine. But you may not have to do that, because one thing too is I'm changing the composition of my body, and I hope to I'm coming off the CPAP machine. So average 7 hours of sound sleep. All right. It's going to help you think better. Go ahead.
Before you go on to that one, I want to talk about sleep. So this is and a lot of people are in an unhealthy state trying to be on team no sleep. And you may get to where you're going to get to, and this is a real statement. It's a cautionary statement. You'll get to the pinnacle of where you were trying to go and die. Because you push your body to the limit to where it wasn't supposed to be. Did you know, Coach, that when you get optimally healthy and whole, did you know your body needs less sleep at that point? You actually need less sleep.
Ooh.
Because the reason why we need, and you need to get it now, the reason why we need more sleep is because we're not all the way healthy. People, like, there's a fasting epidemic that's going on. You know the reason why there's a fasting epidemic? Because we are in the era of modern food. Notice what I said, modern food. Food-like. We've been eating food-like substances for a long time. We're just now coming to the point that we recognize. And because you're not getting the nutrition, there's a system in your body called satiety that tells you when you received enough nutrition that prevents you from overeating, which prevents diseases. Because this food doesn't have any nutrition, now you need more sleep because your body is not needs more time to recover. Then it's a whole lot of science in here that I've learned. So once you get optimally healthy, you still will sleep, but you won't need as much because it doesn't take your body 10 hours to recover.
Right.
But this is what we have to do right now. So right now, you need, don't trip. You still need sleep. All right. You need sleep. Get off a team grind. Get out of that. Get out of that. And if you're trying to lose weight, I just want to tell you this. You can look this up at reputable places. If you don't get sleep, your body doesn't recover. If your body doesn't recover, everything you did that day, the eating right and the working out, goes out the window.
Yep.
You need time to recover. Number 3, keep a journal.
We need to keep a journal of our thoughts, gratitude, intentional living, keeping a journal. So this growth plan that I was talking about, I have over 100 questions of journal prompts, and it's just about you. You don't have to share it with anybody. This is so you can see it, get it from here on paper so you can read it. So it's important to keep a journal. This is all to help you think better. The next one, solve puzzles. I've been told by doctors, and I've read on it, that if you want to avoid dementia, do puzzles. Keep your brain active. I love puzzles. And at first, I used to frustrate me. But now I look forward to a challenge of a puzzle, so my brain will continue to work and function properly.
Coach, really quickly, and it's a kind of puzzle. I have a parking game on my phone, and the difficulty has been, so there are cars in this parking lot, and you have to figure out how to get them out of the lot. And you only have like so many moves. Some of you may have this. You only have so many moves. Sometimes you may have to hit another car to get out, but you have to get them out of the open spaces. And then they've got like, it's interesting because they have like little grand malls, that are pushing baskets in the car, and if you move wrong, you'll hit them, and then you have to do it over. But
Oh
it's a puzzle because you have to think about how am I going to get these cars. That's training my brain.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's translating to things that I may not even know I need help with. And these kinds of things prevent brain fog. If you've ever experienced brain fog, it's one of the worst things that can happen to you because you know what's going on, but you can't stop it when it's happening. And you're trying to grab a thought, you're trying to grab a concept, you're trying to grab an idea, and your brain's not working right. So this is why you have to start eating healthier. Because, all right, that's a whole that's a whole nother live about eating. Go ahead, Coach.
All right, meditation. When you first wake up in the morning, you're going to have a thought. And I just want to encourage you, make that part of your morning routine, your morning ritual, to take time and just be silent, be in meditation mode, whether you're thinking of scripture or you're in prayer. Just take a moment. Most people, when they wake up, are either hitting the snooze button or they're picking up this. And that's how they start their day.
Coach.
Allow these words to become your own. Let them positively impact your vibration and change the frequency you are emitting.
I didn't know what he was doing.
Breathe in these affirmations. Imagine you are there already.
Meditate. It's okay.
I love it. I never know what to expect with PD.
Yeah. Get into a serene state of being. All right.
Yes. All right. He said it. Eat healthy. Eat healthy. And I'm doing that. PD is doing that. I'm feeling great. The numbers as far as blood work, looking great. Eat healthy because, again, it's affecting your brain. Number 7, write down ideas. Now, I'm going to take it a little further. I have on my phone a recorder app because not all the time can I write down my ideas, but I can press a button and just record my thoughts and then go back to it later. But get your ideas down. What was that I thought about? Don't do that. Don't have that. So write your ideas down. Number 8, get out of your comfort zone. The comfort zone is that you created, is that area where you are and you're afraid to come out because you don't know what's going to be out there. And the comfort zone starts here in the mind. So get out of there. You got a whole world out here. Get out of your comfort zone. Now I'm going quickly because I know we
almost out of time.
Almost out of time.
Yep.
Explore new territory. You know what? There are some great hobbies, activities that you can get in. New territory also means get out of your city. Go somewhere. I'm at the point right now, I am itching to get out, to go somewhere. Because there's something about going where you don't know anybody or you don't know the surroundings that causes your brain to function. So seeing something new, you've been seeing the same thing for the last 20, 30, 40 years. Time to go somewhere different. All right. And number 10, change negative vocabulary to positive. Change the negative words. You if you've been around me any length of time, you know I don't say mistake. I say challenges.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a to-do list. I have a success list. I mean, just because to do, I don't want to.
We don't do homework. We do success work.
Yeah, we do success work.
Yeah.
So, change the words, the negative vocabulary to positive, and that will make a big difference. So,
all right. Well, let's take a few questions. And I saw one coming up. You can type them all throughout. But I saw one come up. It's from Martha. She says, "Are there any activities you can use besides puzzles?" Yes.
Mhm.
If you Google brain games, if you do that search, Martha, if you Google brain games, you're going to find that a lot of things come up, and there are going to be a lot of options for apps that you can download to your phone that can keep your brain exercised. Because remember, your mind and your brain is not the same thing, but your brain is the hardware for the mind, and your brain is also a muscle.
Yes.
And it needs to be exercised. So you've got mental muscle. Like whether you stay sharp as you get older is a personal choice.
Absolutely.
Okay. Jemiah says that Impulse is a great app to use. There you go, Martha. So just if you are blessed, you're favored, God is smiling on you, the heavens are open to you, and you have an iPhone. And you can look up that app,
I believe she does.
Yeah, I believe she does. I just always like to mess with people about that, So you while you guys are thinking about other questions you would like to ask about today's teaching, we do want to tell you about something that we started about 2.5, close to 3 months ago, called Advantage Me Academy. And this is a program where we provide audio and video and tips. And some of those will be PDFs, things that you can get, but there's a monthly video, there's weekly audio, though we record those ourselves. And it goes a little deeper. It's a subscription service. We never go live in there, but you're constantly getting new information. And so if you haven't checked into it, for those of you who have access to it, there's some stuff on there. We're getting ready to do some stuff this weekend, put some more on there. We're actually going to give you guys some bonus. We're going to put about 3 of them in there. And this is just because summer months are coming up and all those different things. So Advantage Me Academy. And this is what you will get. You'll get mindset transformation strategies and techniques. We're going to start now our affirmations and declarations, weekly audios, monthly videos. If you just took your phone and you scan that QR code, I believe we're at $27.99 a month. Is that right, Coach?
Yes.
Yeah, or $27. It might just be $27. It's very inexpensive. You'll get information. You're able to pause and write down notes and figure out what you're going to apply. But it's a constant stream of positive information. It's a constant stream of strategy. It's a constant stream of wisdom and methods that you can use to take your life to the next level. Join Advantage Academy today. And it goes on until you stop it. And we're not going to stop. So that's that. We're going to be inviting you into that for as long as you're here each time we are together. Okay, let me see if I've got any questions, Coach, here.
All right.
Martha said, yes, I have an iPhone. Okay, you're blessed.
Yes.
You're blessed. How many of you are going to watch this video again? Everyone I do, I watch it again so we can get better and better and better.
Yes.
Folks, I just want to say this. It does you no good to listen and never apply. It does you no good to fool yourself into thinking, hey, I haven't done anything yet, but I can do this by myself and I need no accountability. It does you no good to go around from influencer to influencer to influencer to influencer to influencer for two reasons. Most of us are saying the same thing. It's just in our unique way.
Right.
You got to find, I'm not saying you can't draw from other tables, but you got to find somebody that resonates with you, stick through what they're doing and go through the whole thing.
Yep.
And I want to say this to people who are willing to or are looking to excel, to advance, and to go forward. You, ma'am, you, sir, have to stop looking for everything to be given to you for free.
Come on.
It's an investment. Money makes money.
That's right.
Right. So if you're looking to do that, what's the investment? I was I don't know. I don't even know how much I've spent. A lot. I know some of you have had thousands and thousands of dollars. But I think about not only the money I've made, but how much wiser I've become. My decision making has become better. Family has become better. Outlook on life. I mean, if all you got was the ability to think positively anytime something negative happens, well, what's that worth?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm really trying to change our people's mind about investment, because we don't believe. We don't believe. We feel someone is taking something from us instead of trying to give someone something to us. That's not the case. We're trying to sow seeds that we know will have not only natural rewards, but eternal rewards.
Yes.
It'll go from you into generations to come. And the other thing is that we're looking to get you unstuck, for you to have mind-shifting aha moments. Train your mind to get off the grind and unleash your being, your blueprint, and your brilliance. And that's going to take some work. But it's good work.
And accountability.
And I would just encourage you to take this seriously. Listen to this again. Even us teaching this, we have to go back and listen. You don't get it just because you listen to it. Just because nobody has heard it. And if you're not one of those people yet, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you're not one of those people yet, they can hear something one time and then start acting on it immediately, then you got to get to that point. Neuroscience tells us that once a new idea is introduced to your mind, you have 24 to 48 hours to act on it. This is a scientific fact. This is not something that PD is just making up. You've got 24 to 48 hours, or your brain will decide that it's not something you want, and it will go into the trash bin. And that's why 3-4 days later, you're like, what was that? What was that thing? You can't remember it because you didn't act on it. Remember, with emotions and thoughts, you choose.
Yes.
You can have a thought. When you don't add emotion to it, your brain says, throw that away, file it away, never to come up again. And here's the thing. You don't even know when it's going to come up again. So anyway, I'm just passionate about, what it is that I do and what I'm trying to get people to go into. Many of you have been called to be some of the most influential people in the world. If you don't only believe in yourself like God believes in you. Yes. I'll end with this, and I'll say this. Moses, before he was sent to go deliver his people, while he was at the burning bush, of course, he asked God, what is your name and all those things. And a little bit later on, God says, hey, I want you to go down there and I want you to bring my people home. And the first thing he said was he pointed to a deficiency within himself. He said, I don't talk well. I've got a speech impediment. Here's what God told him. He says, who's made your mouth? I got you. Don't worry about it. I called you to this. I'm way ahead of you. I can't do it. And then the Bible says that the anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses. Now, you would have think that Moses, having just learned God's name, that he blasphemed his name. No. You would have thought that maybe Moses hit another Egyptian in the sand. No. You would have thought that Moses started to go after idol gods. No, none of that was true. God's anger was not kindled against Moses because of any of those things. God was angry with Moses because Moses didn't believe in himself as much as God believed in him.
Yep.
And what I want to tell you today before you go, believe in yourself.
Yes.
God does. God does. Last thing, and I want you to have the last words, coach, and dismiss us. This is the same concept that I tell speakers all the time who are experiencing with relieving themselves of fright on stage. And you're looking for someone to encourage you and endorse you. You're looking for something that you already have. Number one, the person who invited you has already endorsed you. They saw something in you that they said would be good for my people to hear. You already have the person who invited you. You've got their endorsement. Vicariously, through the person who invited you, the people that you're going to be speaking to, because they trust the person that invited you, you already have their endorsement. Because they say, we know he or she brings in good people. We better be ready to receive. Whether it's on the secular level or spiritual level, you already have their endorsement. You have God's endorsement because God put you on the person that invited you, put you on their minds.
That's right.
You know, the only person that you're waiting on, the only endorsement you're waiting on, the only approval that you're waiting on is you.
That's right. That is true. Wow. Well, I'm glad PD said I had the closing remarks. And I cannot close this session without acknowledging fathers. This weekend, we will celebrate Father's Day. Now, my father passed in 2012. And great man. I even learned more about my father at his service than I even knew because my father was very private. But I want to recognize and thank all fathers or father beings. And PD, I want to say to you that you are an example of what a father is. A father is a protector. A father is a provider. A father is one who professes their love to their children and take care of them, show them right from wrong. And so, and every father watching this video, the same for you. So enjoy your day. For me, it's still part of a family birthday celebration and right in the middle, but I'm going to be there for my 3 children because it's still fresh for them in the passing of their father.
Mm-hmm.
So happy Father's Day to all of the fathers. And thank you so much for being the fathers you are to your children. And of course, our Heavenly Father is right in there. It's at the top of the list for fathers. So I want you all to have a great weekend. Start believing in yourself. Start believing and start training that mind, your brain, and of course, we know that's the hardware to your mind. Because that progression that PD gave you leads you to your habits, your character, and ultimately your destiny. Think about that. And there are people who need what you have. And it would be very selfish of you to hold back and not give them what they deserve. So remember that. Thank you so much for being here. This is Karen, Coach KG Gilliam from the Pacific Northwest, saying, see you in a couple of weeks.